hey, you remember the time, you know, 10 years ago or 7 years ago when you did this thing we did? That was such a great time. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, high five. And no, I'm going to be resentful. What a waste of a life.
Check, check one, check, check.
What a beautiful day. Beautiful day. What keeps people stuck in life? Is it memory? Is it hanging on to, I think for a large part it would be memory for sure. But is it hanging on to the past from a good place or from a bad place? You know, people change and evolve over time. Could be family, could be friends, could be co-workers. And maybe I don't like that change in a person. And I might say that they've changed. So I have to deal with that somehow. So maybe my memory of that person is, hanging on to an old memory of how it used to be 20 years ago or 10 years ago or 3 years ago with the person. You try to recapture that fishing trip or that family event or, I don't really want to talk about in a work environment because those aren't really your friends anyway. They're just acquaintances. But maybe you're trying to hang on to the memory of somebody that comes from a really good time in your life, a really good situation or a event or memory of your life of just hanging out and just had the world by the tail. And then you grow apart for a period, or maybe you still see each other quite frequently, and you try to recapture that based off your memory of that particular event. And then you get together and you're super excited and super stoked to get together with that person again because they're coming over tonight or they're spending the weekend. And you try to go back and you reminisce, they come walk in the door and you reminisce with them about the old days and probably having a couple of drinks or over dinner or something, more like a couple of drinks probably. And then you tell all those stories, and then that's the fun part of it. And then, well, what's new? What's exciting? Well, not much. Same old, same old. We've heard that 1,000 times. What's new with you? I'm doing this now. I started a YouTube channel, anything. I joined a hockey league so one side of the situation in a relationship has changed. I'm talking on a friend's side of things, right? So one person has changed when you get into the what new dialogue, and the other person hasn't turned a wheel, it would seem. They've gotten a little grayer, a little older, and maybe a little fatter. But there's nothing new. There's no new dialogue there. There's nothing new, nothing exciting. And you kind of look at them and you go, well, let's do it from the scenario. We'll do it from the scenario that, let's say I'm the one that changed. So the scenario would be in this case, so I'm the one that changed. So I'm going to look at my friend who hasn't changed that much in a few years or at all. And I'm going to go, wow, there's no depth here. There's nothing new, nothing exciting. And I might ask myself internally, how can you just let yourself dissolve into life? Let life just eat you up like that with no new ambitions, hobbies, interests, same circle of friends, No, there's just no passion. There's no passion left in that relationship from that perspective. Let's flip the scenario and say, well, okay, let's say my friend has changed. I'm the one that is stagnant. I haven't moved. I haven't gotten off my fat derriere in 3 years or a year or 10 years. Well, that dialogue is going to look a lot different coming from this chair than going that way. And it's going to be more along the lines of, if I ask them what they've done and they tell me all these grand things, oh, we traveled here, we've done this, done that, more grandkids and doing this and doing that. And I'm going to start to devalue my own role in that. And when the question gets bounced back to me of, so what's new with you? Tell enough about me. Let's talk about you now, coming this way. And I'm going to have to sit with that realization that, wow, I don't really have a new story to tell here. It's the same job, same environment, same everything. So I'm not going to ask, or I'm not going to be able to shed any light on any new dialogue to create a new memory from this present moment to go forward with. So I'll probably even try to steer the conversation back to, hey, you remember the time, 10 years ago or 7 years ago when you did this thing we did? That was such a great time. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, high five. And that's how the dialogue's going to look from this chair going that way. And I'm going to keep trying to go back to that throughout the course of the evening or the day or whatever. And staying in this chair from the guy that hasn't changed at all, then I'm going to probably take away from that night or that time, that event. My takeaway is probably going to look like I'm going to be resentful towards that. And I'm going to go, you know what? I didn't have a good time. So-and-so has changed. Like, they're just like, look at them go, like, oh, good to be them. And I'm going to be resentful in a way towards that. Not in a way, I know I'm going to be resentful towards that because I don't look at their change as a positive thing because it's a direct mirror reflection that I haven't frickin' moved. I haven't done anything to be excited about. I've lost some of the passion, so all I have is the past to reflect on. And I'm not trying to say that reflecting on the past isn't healthy. But people are allowed to evolve. And you got to recognize that evolution in them and be happy for them. And because if you don't, you're going to turn into a bitter person. And you're going to start, blaming from resentment. You're going to start blaming everything outward because you haven't gotten up, or I haven't got out of my chair to look at anything new in life. And some people find that very hard, and they get stuck. That's why they get stuck. So let's flip the script and talk about if I'm the one that's changed and how that evening, I talked about this earlier. I think I covered those bases a little bit there, but so I'm reflecting on the evening on the same event, but I'm the one that's changed, and my buddy hasn't changed, or my friend, or it could be a family member, a cousin, or something, work buddy, anything. They haven't changed. I'm going to drive away from that, or come away from that evening, that event, come away from that event as a negative spin as well, because I'm going to go, wow, like I just feel so bad for, Bill or Bob or Sarah or Timmy or whoever. I just feel so bad for them. Like, what a waste of a life. This is the dialogue that I'm going to start to create in my mind, and I'm going to go, I just, there's nothing in common there. I mean, that was fun back then, but I mean, we were 20 or 30, or I had to change. I couldn't still be doing those things today. I mean, how could I? I wouldn't be where I am today had I stayed in that rut. So that's the spin I'm going to put on that. And so, hey, if we're supposed to get together with that group of people again in 2 or 3 months or a couple weeks down the road from this moment, I'm gonna have second thoughts about that, because I can't do that again. I can't surround myself with that negative offload that's coming back my way, that I've changed too much. Well, you've changed. You don't do that anymore. I remember you used to play guitar, and I still play guitar, but I just do it from a different headspace. That's all. I don't party as much as I did, or whatever the case might be, right? And all these things are allowable in life, obviously, but this is the memory bank that I pull from, or maybe you pull from that too, and this is how we get stuck. So that's kind of what this video is about. It's just about recognizing the fact that you actually get stuck and not understanding why you're stuck. So if I'm the guy that's done the change, I'm not stuck, right? If that's the scenario that I'm talking about here, I'm not stuck. And I like the road I'm on because I'm not stuck. Now, I can get together with an old friend and we can reminisce about the old days and this and that, and have a one too many cocktails maybe, but it's a lot of fun. But there's got to be new dialogue there and a new challenge there, that you need to be excited for the person that's telling you what's going on in their life that's new, just as well as I need to contribute to that side of the story myself, because then neither one of us is stuck. So be happy for them. You can be happy for them. If it's the other way around and I haven't changed and I'm the one that's actually stuck, it's just going to come out of resentment. And I'm actually going to point fingers at them and, oh, it must be nice to be them, oh, look at them, blah, 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 or him or her or whatever. And that's going to come from a very resentful place. But that's a mirror. That's just a mirror that I haven't moved, and I've just proven to myself now that I'm stuck. And I don't like that. That's uncomfortable. So I'm not going to go to the next event, am I? Because I have nothing to contribute. But I'm going to blame that on them. So you know what? I am stuck. So if you're feeling like that at all in life, I talk about awareness. We talk about awareness on our channel. And I want you to understand that how these things work, and give you some, shed a little more light on the stuckness of it, because it can suck for a lot of people. You don't have to be stuck. So if you find yourself that you might be on one side or the other of that thing, just understand why it's there and how it works. You need to get up and you need to do something. You need to find your passion. If you're stuck in an environment that just won't allow for that personal growth, there's many different scenarios to that. If you're stuck in a dead-end job that doesn't allow growth, guess what? Every day that you go home, you're going to bring that home with you. If you're stuck in a relationship that you're stuck in, and you just feel that you can't grow because you might have a partner that's not willing to participate in that growth or won't support that growth. Well, you got to look at that. And don't be surprised if you don't have the courage to move from that very relationship, that you're going to remain stuck for a long time. And that's how we grow old. That is how we grow old, and that's how we cease to exist. And don't let that happen to you. That's all I got to say about that. In the next episode, I'm sitting outside right now because it's a beautiful day and lots of vitamin D coming down, instead of being stuck in the studio. So I'm going to try to talk about why this is so important for us from a biological standpoint, the chemistry, the internal chemistry that happens in our body when we get into these situations, and they're delicate situations, and we've just maybe haven't learned how to process these situations from a healthy standpoint. I'm not talking about diet. I'm talking about your internal nervous system, your innate nervous system, the vagus nerve, and your autonomic nervous system, and the fight and flight and all that, and the chemistry that's involved in that. It's quite fascinating, and it doesn't come in a bottle. It does not come in a pill bottle. So I'm going to try to talk about that in the next episode. So I hope to see you there.